Dre Miley is my next guest as he gets ready to compete against Jeromy Mitchell on January the 2nd for the bantamweight title for the Valor Fights promotion. Dre, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. And I got to tell you, I'm really excited for this fight. I interviewed Jeromy not too long ago, and this is one that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on. I do want to start first with your last fight. That was earlier this year, January the 10th. You got a round one victory over Jeremy Rogers. Tell me how important of a win was that for you after coming off that loss to Cody?
It was just enough to get the bad taste out of my mouth. I'm not completely satisfied with that win in itself because it's doesn't really hurt anything, doesn't really do any good. So I was like, well, I just gotta at least get this taste out of my mouth and get back in there and be like, okay, I can still do this, no matter how the outcome came for Cody's fight.
I mean, you're 7-3 as a professional. That's a darn good record. You haven't had that many setbacks. When you do lose, how do you process that? Are you one of those guys that just gets right back to training? Do you take a little time off? How do you move forward when you do suffer a setback?
If when I do lose, it's I usually sit there for a minute. After you lose, immediately I go back there. Like the Cody fight, I was so tore up about it. Like I cried, just like ugly crying, like snot and everything was just it was all over the place because I had worked so hard for that fight, and then to have ripped out from underneath you, and then that next Monday, the Monday of the fight of after the so Saturday that Monday, um, I went back into the gym. I was like, okay, I need to fix exactly what's going on. It's like, because I don't have time to marinate and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? Could I have done this? It's like, no, my coach is there. He saw it, so he might as well see if he can help me pick apart what I did wrong.
Mhm.
So that's what it really is. Anytime I lose, I'm always going back to all right, what beat me? What do I need to get better at? So.
When you see what Cody's doing now and he's in the UFC, is that surprising to you, or did you know that he is that good? And you're right on the cusp of maybe having the same thing happen to you.
Let's say like when I watched Cody fight, he did the exact same thing he did to me. So then like watching him fight that dude in the first round, like, as opposed to he fought me in the first round, I was like, oh, okay. Now I am really that good. Like I can really go in there and actually I am at that point to where I could just jump over that line. So it hurt watching him at first. Like I shook, like I was so antsy that I couldn't sit still. And it was one of those things. You fought somebody and you see them in UFC. It's like, dude, I just fought you like a couple months ago. It's one of those things. It triggers you and then it like motivates you. Like okay. And then the funny thing is, I didn't find this out until a few months ago that people actually picked me to win over him. So I was like, oh. It's like there wasn't like, just local people. It was like people on the region. I was like, yeah, he'll beat him and stuff like that. So I was like, dang, this is really good for me. This is really good. So that's what I've been focusing on more than just the fact that I lost to somebody that's in the UFC now.
For sure. That makes a lot of sense. And you were actually supposed to fight on October the 3rd. It was a canceled bout against John Sweeney. What happened with that?
Not going to throw any undue shade on the man, but basically he said that he just likes to eat. So he loves food more than he likes fighting, apparently. So long story short, he was weighing at 176 at the beginning of the fight got announced, and that Thursday night leading into Friday morning, he called the promoter and told my team was like, "Hey, I can't make 135. I'm stuck at 44." And then they was like, "Nope, fights off. Like there's no way." He's like, "It's not even gonna be fair because either you hydrate and you get back up to, back to your walking weight, which is massive. It's 180, and I only hydrate to maybe like 155. So that would be a massive, big gap. And then also, if he did we did fall to 45, it puts him at a disadvantage for his health. So it was a lose lose no matter which way it goes.
I know this is kind of the unfortunate part of the MMA game, but when something like this does happen and you bust your butt in a training camp and you get ready for a fight, and then it falls apart because someone can't make weight, how frustrating is that for you?
Well, this whole year has been frustrating for me because I was supposed to fight in May. And that's when I found out I was supposed to fight Jeremy, but in one called and was like, "Hey, we want you to fight." I was like, cool. Took that fight in May, and then the COVID happened, shut everything down, and when we reopened back up in September, they was like, hey, you're fighting September. Was it 3rd? I think it was a Sunday. I know it's a weird day. And then the next day, Jeromy fought my teammate, and I was like, okay. And then my M1 show got pushed back another month, and then it got ultimately canceled. So I was like, damn. And then October 3rd day I told my coach, like, I want to fight October 3rd. And then John Swinney pulls it. So, like, the whole withdrawing and the whole, like, I can't make weight and I can't do this, I've come accustomed to it this whole year. So it's one of those things now where I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, then I'll still be prepared.
That's what I was going to ask you too about this pandemic, because I know, it's been a little bit different for everyone, but it sounds to me like you've been staying active, staying in the gym and training throughout the duration of this 2020.
Yeah. So we'll see. I work at the gym, so like I coach, most of the amateur fighters. I help, our coaches get ready for people. I'm always somebody's like practice dummy or whatever they need me to be, and I'm also working on my craft as this. So there's no way that I would be slacking at all. And our coach does not believe in you slacking off. So he's like, well, we're in this pandemic. You gotta get better because half of the world right now is not training, and you guys are blessed to train. So let's take advantage of this.
Did your gym ever shut down at all?
We did. We shut down for maybe about 2 or 3 months, but like we also did like the video trainings and stuff like that. So it was like a lot of solo drilling, which I think was more beneficial than going with partners because you get to control your own body. You don't have to worry about nobody, spazzing out and throwing an elbow or knee while you're grappling. So it was a good thing. We did close down and we did manage to get some kind of training in. So it was good.
Did you find yourself, having to, watch what you eat during that time frame? I mean, I know you said you're not going to balloon up and get as big as Sweeney gets, but I mean, I know we all like to eat a little bit. Did you have
Yeah.
any issues there?
No, not really. Taylor Turner, she's one of the Bellator fighters that we have, and she's actually a nutritionist, so she controls about what I eat and tells me what I should eat. So I've been eating, pretty healthy. Like I can still get my pizzas, but like it's all like homemade pizzas. Everything's lean. So like I'm never really putting anything bad into my body unless it's like they tell me, hey, you can have a cheat day. I'm like, cool, I have a cheat day, and so I mean. I really didn't balloon up at all. I can stay consistent with my weight most of the time. So
You're speaking right to me when you mention pizza, because that's my vice, man. I can, that's, if I didn't eat pizza, I'd have a six pack, but I eat too much pizza, so I don't. We all have the things that we like. So I guess pizza is one of those things where a lot of people tend to indulge a little bit too much. Tell me, what else do you like outside of MMA? Do you get into any other sports? Do you have any other activities that you typically like to do to pass the time?
just spend time with friends and family. I have 3 boys, so most of the time is consists of like, you know, watching them grow and then listening to them and their little stories and their personalities and stuff like that. So it's mostly I spend time at home playing video games, just really chilling out because I'm at the gym, it's almost 6 days a week. So I have to find some time to relax. So me and my fiance and our kids, we just hang out at home and just try to enjoy each other's company. Try to go outside, just simple stuff.
I'm not a dad just yet, but I gotta ask. A lot of my friends are now. How does that change you? How does it change your mindset? Waking up every day, going to tackle your goals.
I used to be like really good to wake up and you're like, okay, I'm just doing this for myself. You it's almost like you go through the motions for yourself and you don't have that stronger urge. But like, you know, I got 3 of them, so now I'm like, oh, okay, now you gotta get on your grind. Now you gotta grind a little bit harder because now you got more mouths to feed, and you gotta keep pushing. You gotta push harder. So like waking up and then looking at them going to school, I'm like, okay, I gotta go work. And you're putting everything into the gym that you can, putting your whole body, your soul and everything into the gym. And also, it's a good thing that they take classes with us too. So my whole family is in the class. So my fiance, she does our Max Fit class. She does kickboxing. The boys do their own kids MMA class. So it's a family. It's MMA family. So it definitely helps.
Do they all go to your fights, and are they cage side cheering for you, or do they not like to see you fight? Tell me that dynamic.
Oh no, I don't take them to the fights. I can't. I can't do that. Like like a lot of parents can do that, but I can't. I can never ever bring myself to be like, yeah, let's bring the boys on little march because like I don't want to see them. I don't want them to see me like that. If that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like it's a difference when you see me at the gym, but it's a different whenever you see me fight because that's like me just not myself at all. It's like I am
Sure.
in there trying to destroy this person. And my middle child, he loves it. Like he'll find an old fight of me. He'll look at it. He'll watch it all the whole way through. He'll brag to his friends about it. So they like it. It'll probably come a time where I'm like, all right, you guys can start coming to the fights. But for right now, no.
Gotcha, gotcha. Understood. Now we did talk a little bit earlier, about your specific career. You're 7-3 now. You're coming off a win. You did have that loss to Cody that we talked about. What does a win over Jeromy do for you at this point? Does it signify that you are ready for like a contender series or Bellator or maybe even a straight shot into the UFC? Where do you think you are right now in your career?
I think right now, whether Jeremy held the belt or not, I do believe that the UFC or Bellator or whoever else is the higher up that's wanting me, they are wanting me to have a signature win. So they want me to, have a cap off of this regional career. And be like, okay. So yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's the fact that like I can get to the top of that promotion and be like, cool, I made it. Hang there for a few minutes because Cody wasn't champ long. As soon as Cody became champ, he went straight to UFC. So, and same thing with Ronnie Lawrence. Ronnie Lawrence he was a Valor champ too, and then he jumped to UFC. So I mean, I think that's what it is. I think they ultimately want you to just to get the belt and then show them that you are dominant, and then just be patient and wait for your call. So I think that the belt is more important than the person in that fight, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Okay, I got you. Now, Jeromy won the belt by beating one of your teammates, James Adcock. What did you learn in that fight? Is there anything that you can take from it to kind of aid in you getting a win when you fight for the belt?
I watched that film probably maybe 4 or 5 times, and what I've learned is that you cannot rush Jeremy because Jeremy is he's like a counter wrestler or counter striker. He's a counter fighter. He doesn't necessarily like go forward, and if he does, he only throws like certain things. So whatever I fight him, I know that I have to be patient, and I cannot get wrapped up into his game because what he likes to do is like when he gets bum rush, he likes to back up to the cage because he knows people are gonna shoot on him, and then he's not afraid to go to the ground because he has submission wins on the ground. So I'm not saying I will totally avoid it, but that's something that if I can control, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna control that fact of let's keep this fight where I want it to be. We go to the ground whenever I want to go to the ground. So it's one of those things.
Do you have any added motivation that he beat your teammate? Are you upset a little bit more and want to get your hands on him, or does it really matter?
Uh, it's always a sour, sour taste in your mouth whenever somebody beat your teammate, because me and James was like my first mentor. He was like my first teammate whenever I first started. So I've been doing it for 11 years, and James has been doing it longer than me. So it kind of hurt a little bit, but at the same time, like you know, I have to forget about that and be like, okay, now it's my turn. So now I got to figure out what to do. So no, I mean it hurt. It really did. It bothered me for a little bit, but now again, I shift my focus to actually how to beat Jeremy. So
So let's talk a little bit about this bad blood. I mean, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I've seen some back and forth on Facebook. You guys were matched one another inside the cage when they announced the fight, and it seemed like there was a little gamesmanship there. Tell me where did that all start from, and how do you feel like that's going to translate come fight night?
oh well, it started because he won the belt, and again, like I said, I watched the film. The boxcast thing. I watched all of it, and then like it was the speech that he made at the end of the fight. Like for me, I'm a humble person, so if you don't know, if like people who knew me, they'd be like, "Yeah, Dre's pretty humble. He may talk a lot of, talk a lot of smack, but it comes from a healthy place. It comes from like a place of fun. It doesn't come from like, oh, I think you suck, you're this and that. It's nothing like that. It's just when I was like, hey, let's have some fun. I'm talking, jaw jack you a little bit. But like he was like, yeah, I'm the best 135er in the state or in the something in the region, and I'm the best unsigned. And I was like, okay, that kind of hyped me up because I was like, you first of all, you fought one person, you're 3-0, you got a lot to prove to everybody. So you just got lucky. And then next thing I know, he made a post because he's been following me. He's like, he likes all my posts before all this. So before all this, all he's doing is like my posts. Like if I put out anything, he's first one to like my story or show my story, whatever. So I'm like, okay. And then he posted something about Scott Coker wanting to fight James Gallagher, and James Gallagher is like a 20-fight vet, right? Like he's been around the block and he's fought some tough guys. I like commented on it. I was like, well, me commenting on it's kind of petty, but that was my goal. I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get rise out of him. And he was like, hey, Scott Coker, I want to fight James Gallagher. I'm up and comer, I'm a champ, yada yada yada. And I was like, hey, pump your brakes a little bit, man, because you ain't fought the best yet, and you ain't getting off that easy. You still got to fight me. And he was like, oh, well, you ducked me and you was running from me and stuff like that. I was like, I've never ducked you. I've never ran from you. I didn't even know you existed fighting wise until like just now. And yeah, so he was like pretty much saying that I ran from him and we were supposed to fight. And he got hurt and then I got signed to M1. I was like, I mean, that's kind of what you want, right? Like at this point, I'm looking for that fight to be like, boom, UFC, boom, yeah, Bellator. So it all got to the point where he was getting super cocky and he was feeling himself. So I was like, fine, I'm gonna let this roll because you hit a line where it's like disrespect and I mean I have screenshots and stuff of it too. So I'll read it before I have to go training, and that's what gets me fired up. And the whole face-off thing was not for. It was not for show. It really wasn't. Like I told people beforehand, I was like, dude, I really don't like this guy. Because I told my friend, I told James, and James was like, yeah, man, he's a super cool dude. He's like, yeah, he's super respectful of me. I was like, nah, F that guy. He was like, what do you mean? And I showed him the messages, and James was like, oh, okay, yeah, F that guy. So we got to the cage, and then so we start jaw jacking. And then whatever you saw in the film is what happened. I mean, I told him that I was going to come in January. I'm going to beat him, and it's not going to be anything he could do about it. I tried to pull a Conor McGregor move by trying to take the belt. He wasn't too happy about it. So, I mean, like I said, it's real. It's like you don't talk crazy if you just got it. Like, I understand if you beat me, then I'll acknowledge you as being, pretty good. But I'm not going to acknowledge you without fighting me first.
How good do you think he is? Like honestly, when you look at him and you watch his tape, how good of a fighter do you think he is right now in his career?
I think he's all right. I think he's pretty good. I think he is to the point where he should be. Fighting as long as like he had a long amateur career, which is nice. But then I look at the people that he lost to, and I'm like, you should have never lost to those people. And then I see the people in pros that he did as pros. I was like, you should have never won those fights. So I'm like, he's right where he needs to be. Now I fought Cody. Me and Cody had a tough fight, and Cody to this day, and this is coming straight from his manager, was like, hey, Cody said that you was his toughest fight to date because Cody couldn't finish me the first round. He tried to and he couldn't do it. But everybody else, once Cody takes you down, that's it. But like at one point in that fight, I almost finished him. So, you know, I think Jeromy is good where he is right now, but I do think that he feeds into himself, which is a really good thing to do in this sport. You got to feed into yourself, but then also at the same time, you got to be able to check yourself and be like, okay, do I really got to match up with this person? Because if you don't evolve, then you're not going to be good. You're just going to be okay.
Mhm. So give me an official prediction. How do you see this fight shaking out? I kind of have a pretty good feeling right now that you feel like you're gonna get a finish here. Just tell me how it's all gonna come to an end here.
Let's see. What he tell me he was going to finish me in? What was it?
I think it was the second round.
It was the second. I thought it was the first because I saw the first time he said first round KO and then second round TKO. Man, I really am not this type of person to, make predictions. Um, I'll do a personal one and then I'll do one for, just for shits and giggles. Um, Me personally, I would want it to be a 5-round fight because I know I can go 5 rounds. I know I can. Cardio's never been an issue for me, and I know I can hold my own against him. So, me personally, I would love to drag him into the deep waters, and while he's over like gassed because he cuts a lot of weight. I would love to look across the cage and be like, oh yeah, you're tired. Okay, now let's get you out of here. But since he said second round TKO, I'd probably go with him too. I'll probably finish him in the second round if he can make it past the first round. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'm hoping to get a finish, and it doesn't matter TKO or submission. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to end him, almost get close to make an example out of him. That's what I want to do.
To me, it sounds like you just feel like you're a little better everywhere, regardless where the fight goes. You're going to be able to kind of dictate where you want it. Am I accurate by saying that?
Well, yeah, because again, I lost to two people. My two losses came from two people who are UFC vets. Cody just went to UFC. Chris Ocon, he fought in the Contender Series. So I mean, and then Nathan Lindsay, I was early in my career. So I mean, you make mistakes, but Tennessee Athletic Commission dropped the ball on that loss. But those two people, that signifies, hey, you lose against really good people. It's not like I'm losing against, a dude that's 0-10 or 3-5. It's against people who are actually legit. And so it took me a minute to be like, how good are you? And it took me to look at the Cody fight and then look at everybody else around and be like, okay, I am really that good. So yeah, that's what I really feel. I really feel like I am better than him. I'm just gonna show it on January.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you do go in and you get this win and you have the belt, who knows what's next? Contender Series. That season is almost behind us now. There's a little bit of time left. Well, actually, it will be behind us by the time we actually get to your fight. So, I mean, but you never know. 2021, they start in the springtime. I guess my question is, are you hoping that you can get another crack at Cody if you do get that call up into the UFC?
I would love to get another crack at Cody. I would love that fight again because I think that it would. I think that it has enough build up behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people who believe that that fight was, I won that fight. And I know I lost that fight. You don't have to tell me, but parts of me and like, I look at that fight, I'm like, I was really working him. I would love to fight him again. I'd love to fight Nathan Manis. I'd love to fight Jimmy Flick. I'd love to fight most of those guys. I'd love to fight the dude that Cody fought, Chris Gutierrez. I'd love to fight all those guys. But in order for me to get there, I have to get past Jeromy. And that's exactly what it has to be. Like, once I win the belt and I get that call back, I'll more than willing, either hand that belt to him or I hand it to James and be like, here, guys, I'm done. I'm going to the next level because that's what I want. That's what I trained for. I've been training for 11 years, have almost 11 fights. That's what I got to go for. I'm going for the UFC. I'm going for Bellator. So, yeah, ideally, I would love to have Cody Durden again.
Well, that would be exciting. So I'm really excited for this one. Obviously, this matchup for the title against Jeromy, it'll be here before you know it. It's right around the corner. Again, January 2nd, Valor fights bantamweight title. Dre and Jeromy will officially get it on. I really appreciate the time, man. Happy to have you on the show for the first time. Before I do let you go, if there's anyone you want to thank, any social media you want to plug, or any sponsors you have, the floor is yours.
All right, I appreciate you having me on, man. It's really nice.
Of course.
I like doing these interviews. Special shout out to Knoxville Martial Arts Academy. My head coaches Eric Turner, Joey Zonar, my teammates James Adcock, Jason King, Taylor Turner, Chris Adcock. The list goes on and on. Anthony Seagoat, who is fighting next month, not next, yeah, next month, yeah, he's fighting next month. Him and a bunch of other amateurs that I work closely with, they're all fighting, so that'll be good. Valor Fights for always having me on. The Cotton Eye Joe for having the hospitality, letting us do these things under your roof. Frankie's Body Shop, Chloe Padilla, Frankie Padilla, keep my body in tip top shape. Dressig apparel and athletic wear. They always keep me warm, always keep me good. Hydrate. Hydrate's a really good one. Love the water. Keeps me hydrated. It's just super clean water. Let's see. I got new T-shirts. Thank you, Smith Anchor Apparel. They just hooked up with these shirts. The shirts are sweet, so I love them. Everybody loves them. Special shout out to my immediate family. My girlfriend Kay, Varela, my three boys, Uriah, Jordan, Cameron, all three of them. Keep me tight, keep me motivated to make sure my eye is on the prize. And just thank you to you for having me on here. And I hope everybody tunes in some way, shape, or fashion to watch me and Jeromy fight because January is going to be a stupidly stacked card. Like I heard, it's a lot of. I think it's like two more title fights added there, maybe one more title fight. I don't know, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of eyes on this fight. It's a lot of eyes on this card. So make sure you tune in to watch it.